Hey guys, welcome back to another video. And it's Thanksgiving week. Let's go, Thanksgiving break time. So today I'm going to be ranking every single Bloons TD game. I know you guys are going to have so many questions, so I'm not going to include every Bloons game, like mostly the ones from like the olden days, like back in 2008. I'm going to mostly include Bloons TD, Bloons Supermonkey, and a couple other ones as well, including the modern games. So without further ado, here we go. 14, Bloons Tower Defense. This is the very first game that started... Okay, well, technically, it's the Bloons game that started this entire thing, but I'm not ranking that just because I don't think it counts, and that's disqualified. I'm sorry. So, the reason why I put this one very low, even though it's the first game, I think it's just because it hasn't aged well at all, just because the newer games are a lot better, in my opinion. This game was the start of, like, a different type of genre and all that, like the shooting puzzle genre kind of thing, and it's unique and all that. Props to the person who created this, Ninja Kiwi. Well done. But obviously he's done better over the years, so that's why I put this one low. I mean, I would feel bad, but to be fair, this was his very first try. He at least tried, but it hasn't aged well. Just saying. 13, Bloons Tower Defense 2. This is the sequel to Bloons Tower Defense. And from a quick glance, it's a really solid upgrade to the very first Bloons game. Like, there's not really much changes, though, with its graphics and all that, but otherwise, it looks really decent and all that. So why is it lower, even lower, and, like, why is it only slightly higher than the first game? Just because, like, it's a really old game, so, like, a lot of things hasn't aged well in the slightest. Like, it's a really good upgrade, no doubt about it. It's just, you know, if you want to play newer Bloons stuff, which I'll talk about later, that's what you should do. It's just the sequel, like, even though it is a really good upgrade, it just, the thing is, this game hasn't aged well because there's been upgrades since then. So, even though this is a pretty decent project, it's still, like, not, like, the sequel I would go back on. Like, play a different sequel, just saying. 12, Bloons Card Storm. Here's a game I really hate so much. No, seriously, I actually hate this game so much. I know it's a really new game and all that, but the way it's structured is just enough for me to hate on it. Like, pulling out cards and then using it at the right time and all that. Like, you have to place it a few times. Sometimes the card isn't available, so you don't have to place it and all that. Is this game worth it? I don't think so. Just because I feel, in my opinion, it's just more like luck-based. Like, you have a chance of maybe making it and all that. I know this is a brand new game, so expectations may change in the future. But for right now, I don't like this game at all. I'm so sorry to the other people who like this, but for my preference, I really hate this game so much. It's like an annoying experience for me. I don't know why it has been that way, but it just has, and yeah. 11, Bloons Supermonkey. Oh boy, this is actually a really fun concept. So you might be wondering why I put it low. Just because there has been a few things that hasn't aged well, and there is a better version of that I'll talk about later. But for right now, this is actually pretty interesting. You play as Supermonkey, where you shoot balloons and all that, but not the way you expect. You actually shoot, like, I don't like an aerial shooter, like you know Galaga and all that. That's what I mean. My bad. But like, it's like Galaga, which it's really cool. But instead you shoot balloons and that instead. It's a very decent experience. I love the way it is. It's just the only reason why I put it here instead of higher is just because the game hasn't really aged well in a couple of things here and there. But like, if you're willing to give it a shot, go ahead. There is the other game, which I'll talk about later. But for right now, yeah, this is a pretty decent game. It's just not one that most people go back on fondly. 10, Bloons Monkey City. This game is still on the App Store, which is amazing. And this is a 2013 game, which is impressive. Anyways, this one's unique in that you pick the location you want to do the balloon attacking and all that. And it's really unique. Plus, you can upgrade your city and all that stuff. So it combines the original game with the elements of, like, making your own city and all that, because I guess that was popular back in those, like, early 2010s era. I just think, though, even though this is a unique game, that it's still enjoyable when you play it and all that. I do think the game has a few glaring issues here and there now because of the modern era, and you can play something else besides this, but I do think, for what it's worth, it's a decent experience. It's just not one that most people go back to. 9. Bloons TD 3. The only reason why I put this one higher than the Bloons Monkey City one, just because this game has a lot of more upgrades than the first two games, and obviously there's more to come. But for right now, Bloons TD 3 actually did some decent things and added some unique attributes. I know there's a few things that doesn't sit well with some people, with some upgrades having not aged well, but some other ones are pretty cool too. And it's a unique experience. Some people may actually go back on this game, although maybe not, but also, it's a fun experience. So back in the day, yeah, it was a really fun idea, and had incredible upgrades, and a lot of new updates and all that. So overall, a decent package, and an incredible idea. 8. Bloons Supermonkey 2. You know, the fact that the first game was upgraded from that to this sequel, it's really impressive. This was released back in 2016, and it looks amazingly well done with its shooting attributes and all that stuff. Like, there's a lot more things to do. Like, I know it's technically just an upgrade, but man, there's a lot more things in this game. Like, a lot more power-ups, a lot more everything that I can't really name right now, but for the most part, this is definitely an improvement to the original game with, like, its new upgrades and a lot of other things as well. Like, it's an amazing package. If you're gonna play a Super Monkey game, play this one because it has a lot more than the original. 7. Bloons TD 4. Now, Bloons TD 4 looks crazy improved. Like, there's so much more stuff happening and all that. And for the fourth game, yeah, this has a lot going for it. It's crazy good. Like, a lot of things are there. There's a lot of upgrades and all that stuff. And although I'm hearing some complaints about the game nowadays, it's still a fun, decent package. And it's amazing. Number 6. Bloons TD Battles 2. This is the sequel to Bloons TD Battles. And while the original game is really good, which I'll talk about later, that doesn't mean the sequel isn't that bad. And it's actually a really cool modernization version of the game. The only reason it's right here in this spot is that some people are complaining that this game isn't as the greatest as, like, the original game. But that doesn't mean the game is that bad, because it actually has a lot of new characters, a lot of new power-ups, a lot of other things as well. I think just people are complaining because the competitive thing is kind of less in the game, but that doesn't mean the game is bad. It's actually really cool if you think about it. So if you go through all the faults and all that, then yeah, you'll have a really decent time and all that. 5. Bloons TD Battles. So why did I put the original game over the sequel one? Just because a lot of people more than fondly go back to this game. What's the reasoning for it? It's just because this is a fun game about you fighting another opponent, and the original game is always the one that people go back on. And I agree, this game has so much nostalgia going for it these days, and it's a great experience overall. Like, everything that has to offer. The original sometimes is always better, and this is one of those cases where, yeah, the original is great, because the competitiveness is still there. Attacking other opponents is amazing. It's such a surreal experience, and I can't believe that people play it nowadays, which is such a blessing. 4. Bloons Pop. This, at a quick glance, looks like one of those generic games, kind of like Angry Birds Pop, where you just shoot bubbles and all that. But wait a second, you get to use monkeys in this game, and the attack patterns are just so good. And yeah, you start to realize that, yeah, this isn't even a generic game at all. It's actually really fun and creative and all that, with different power-ups, with its different monkeys. You get to shoot through different types of balloons, and it's just so satisfying. It's very different than the usual Bloons games, and this is by far the best Bloons spin-off. Okay, well, technically, like, that is, like, you know, not the traditional style. We'll get to that shortly. But this is the best spinoff that is not really traditional, and it's really fun. I love its mechanics. I love everything that it has to offer. Like, shooting through balloons, like I said again, is so satisfying. With its power-ups and all that stuff, this is an incredible experience. 3. Bloons TD 5. There's actually 2 versions of this game. The one when it was first released, and then the newest version that people are playing nowadays. And Bloons TD 5 ended up becoming one of the most popular games made by Kiwi. And man, I can see why. This game has so much jam-packed content, has so much things going on. It's by far one of the best Bloons games in the entire series. Because there's a lot of upgrades, a lot of power-ups, a lot of levels, a lot of everything. What more can you ask for? And while the original version you can't play anymore, the newest version is by far the best because it has a lot of jam-packed things and it's an incredible experience to this day. 2. Bloons Adventure Time TD. Man, this is such a great crossover between Bloons and Adventure Time. Adventure Time was just wrapping up with its final season, and the fact that Bloons and Adventure Time got together for one game is just magnificent. With its Adventure Time characters and Bloons characters, there's everything that everyone can expect from a Bloons game and an Adventure Time fan. This game has a lot of lore, a lot of characters, a lot of power-ups, a lot of things. It's crazy. I put it up higher than Bloons TD 5 just because it has a lot more fun and engaging stuff going on, and it's just an incredible experience in my opinion, and it's everything that like a kid wants. 1. Bloons TD 6. This is the 6th installment to the series, and it's by far the best because it has a lot of characters, a lot of power-ups, a lot of many things, and this game is just the ultimate Bloons package. So many things are jam-packed with its worlds, its environments, its everything that a Bloons fan wants, and it's by far the best Bloons game out there because there's just so much things going on. What more can you ask for? There is also a plus version as well with even more content. So yeah, Bloons TD 6 is without a doubt the best Bloons TD game out there. So before wrapping up, I did not include the plus versions like Bloons TD 6 Plus because that doesn't count at all. But yeah, we have done it! Thanks for watching. Happy Thanksgiving.